Okay, so now we're going to talk about substitution. So, what does substitution mean, right? When we're in the classroom and we have a substitute, what does that mean? It means that your teacher got replaced by something that's equivalent, right? Someone that can be in the room with you and is responsible for your well being, right? Okay, cool. All right, so substitute means basically to replace. Okay, so the proper definition of this, okay, because it's important to know the proper things of things or, whatever. Okay, so if A equals B, right, then A can be replaced by B in any situation. Okay, now I know that sounds kind of wanky, like what? What did you just say? I don't know. Okay. So basically that means if we know the value of a variable, then that basically means plug it in. Plug it in, plug it in. Do y'all know where that's from? Plug it in, okay? So you just plug it in. Oh, can y'all see that? Yeah, y'all can kind of see that, okay? So you just plug it in. All right, cool. So let's do an example then. Well, miss, I still don't know what in the world you're saying. Okay, well, okay. Okay, then, let's do it. Evaluate. So, let's do x plus 1 squared plus 2 divided by 3x. Okay? When x is 3, right? Notice how I read that, right? Instead of saying x equals 3, I said x is 3, which is the same as saying x equals 3, right? Is another word for equal. So I'm telling you x is 3, right? So then what does that mean? Okay, well, let's box this, right? We're going to use this number everywhere we see an x. So I'm going to make my skeleton. Okay, what do I mean by a skeleton? I mean, I'm going to rewrite this except with the variables. I'm going to put parentheses where that variable used to exist, okay? Or I mean, it still exists, but it's now invisible. Okay, so we're going to have parentheses, right? Because that's what I already have. Now I have an x there, so I'm going to plug in that x, right? Plus 1, close parentheses squared, right? So do you notice that the only thing I've done is that instead of putting the x, I have put parentheses, right? Because that's where I'm going to plug it in. I'm holding its place with parentheses. Plus 2, right? We're going to recopy it. And then we have 3. And then we have an x. So parentheses, okay? So all we did was rewrite it. Sorry, I'm talking weird. Rewrite it with parentheses. Now, what do you think is going to go inside these parentheses? Well, what is x? X is 3. So instead of x, I'm going to put a 3. Okay, so what did we do here? Well, right? Skeleton. That's what we did, right? We made our skeleton and then plug in 3. Can y'all see that? Plug in 3 for x. That is exactly what we just did. That's all we did, okay? So then now we're going to start to simplify. Well, order of operations. Okay, so what does that mean? That means I'm gonna start with my parentheses. So we're right here, right? So 3 plus 1. Well, do we know what 3 plus 1 is? Yeah, I'd hope so. It is 4. Okay, so 4 squared plus 2 over 3 times 3. Okay, So how did we get this? Well, we got this by doing parentheses first, right? So simplify inside parentheses. That is exactly what we did first. Okay, we always do that first. Now, what is next? Well, after parentheses, it's exponents. Do I have any exponents? I sure do. So we have 4 squared. Well, what is 4 squared? 4 squared is 16, right? So 16 plus 2 over 3 times 3. Okay, well, how did we get that? Right? We did exponent law. 4 squared equals 16. That's how we got that. Now, notice we have a numerator and a denominator, right? But in our numerator, we're adding, and in our denominator, we're multiplying. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to do simplify each one separately, right? So before you can move on to the fraction and the division part of it, you have to simplify its numerator and its denominator. So let's start with its denominator because we have multiplication down here. So we would have 16 plus 2 over 9. Now that the denominator is simplified, well, 16 plus 2 is 18 over 9. And then now the last thing we have left is division. So 18 divided by 9 is 2. Okay, so how did we get this? What did we do? First we did 3 times 3, which was 9. Then we did 16 plus 2, which is 18. And then we reduce, right? Which was the division part of it. 18 divided by 9 is 2, right? 2 over 1, same thing. Okay, so what, so the expression, what was the expression? X plus 1 squared plus 2 all divided by 3x reduces to 2, right? Because that was our answer, when x equals 3. Okay, another way of saying this is, okay, so this was one way. Okay, so here's another way. The expression gives an output. What was our output, right? What did we get out of it? 2. The expression gives an output of 2 when the input is 3. And we know that that was the input because it's what we put inside of the expression, right? Input 3, output 2. Bam.